back. AppSense does what's called self-healing. We automatically detect that something's being manipulated that we don't want to be manipulated, and it actually comes back on its own. So this user does not have to log off or reboot the system according to the help desk that they told them to do. They take time out of their day to close out their applications or to actually go in there and actually change things. And we can do this on registry settings, processes, and we can even do it in preventing users from changing text inside of like an LM-host file to make sure it's not manipulated. Very handy tool there. Another thing I want to show you is the feature we have what's called lockdown. I'm going to come back to the management server to kind of show you this. I'm going to click down a little feature called lockdown, and I'm going to open up, I think I got Notepad running in here. I'm going to open up Notepad here, and I want to prevent my user from actually accessing the print function within Notepad. How do I do that? Well, I could write a complex script to prevent that, or I can click on what's called a general wizard. And I click on my mouse, it looks like a scope of a gun there, and I'm going to hold down my mouse button, and then I'm going to highlight over to where the actual print function is. I'm going to do the whole toolbar just to kind of show you how powerful this is. If I let go of my mouse button, I can then select features in here that I don't want the users to have access to. So you know what, I'm not allowing them to print, not allowing them to save, let's see, page setup. We'll check a whole bunch of things. We'll allow them to exit. And you can come in here and do whatever you want, and we'll click on format, and we'll allow them to mess with the font. We won't click on view, add view. So a whole bunch of things we did, and when I click OK, I have actually locked down Notepad here for Mandy. And remember those conditions I said? I can do it based on anything that I want. So if I only want this to happen if Mandy's on a certain device, or if Mandy's in a certain location, or if she's launching a certain published application, I don't want this to be available. And once I apply that, we'll come back to Windows XP here. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to click on Notepad. And without applying a complex GPO, when I go to click on File, look at that, I can't click on Print. I click on Edit, I don't have access to it. Format, all I can do is click on Font. So you're taking features away from an application. Now I'm going to tell you up front, does this work in all applications? No, because AppSense does have to read what that actual application is doing. So it does not work in all applications, but it is a very handy and powerful tool for the applications it does work in. Now, those are some of the nice features that we're actually utilizing with Environment Manager. Now, so far, I've actually showed you Environment Manager, and I've dealt with the policy, which deals with, again, your actions that deal with, registry configuration, file and folder setup, drive mappings, printers, streaming of applications, policies, even creating shortcuts. And remember, all that data lives on a local file. It doesn't have to be brought down by Active Directory. So if you look at it in a nutshell, it's kind of like logging on to your laptop or desktop as a local administrator. It doesn't communicate with AD. It reads the local credentials and logs you in. With AppSense, we allow you to authenticate to Active Directory to make sure you can get on your network, but we have that local log file creating everything that you need based on policy. And then the other side to this is personalization, which allows that user to go anywhere and everywhere that they need within their environment and to have the same look and feel of their applications. Okay? Now, so far, I've actually showed you Environment Manager. And the next product I'm going to jump into real quickly is Application Manager. And this will take just about 5 minutes, and then we'll open it up for some questions. So if you do have a couple questions and you want to go ahead and start typing them in under chat, Valerie will answer those shortly here as soon as we get done with Application Manager. Now, Application Manager is another product that AppSense does deliver, and it's a security product. Now, AppSense developed this product a long time ago, about 11 years ago, and it's just been, evolving ever since. And we're releasing a brand new feature within Application Manager, which is called User Rights Management. Let's basically just back up a little bit. What is Application Manager? It's security. A lot of companies give users local admin rights because applications, functionality, or whatever requires them to have certain rights. Well, then this causes maybe HIPAA issues of security. This causes SOX compliances, ITIL compliances, whatever compliances, or even just security of a user accessing folders they shouldn't. Well, within Application Manager, we have the ability to basically tell a user, regardless of what their rights are, whether they're a domain administrator or a local user, just a regular domain user, what they can and cannot launch. So if you wanted to kind of like generate a whitelist and say, these are the only applications we're going to allow you to launch within your environment, that's it. Well, a lot of companies come to me and say, Dan, I have laptop users that travel, and we have to give them local admin rights because they need to connect to different wireless access points, and you have to have local admin rights to be able to do that. What if I could tell you we could give them basic user rights and allow Application Manager, a new feature that we have called User Rights Management, to elevate that functionality so when they go to click on the wireless, we automatically elevate them to a local admin, but only dealing with that functionality, nothing more, nothing less. Again, it helps you solve a lot of your security issues within your environment. Now, I'm going to come into XP environment again, and this user that's logged in, I just want to show you and tell you that this user is a full domain administrator with local admin rights. They can do anything and everything that they want. Yet they go into the download folders, they've gone to the internet, and they've done something they shouldn't have because there's some videos and some pirated software they want to access. So if they go to click on LimeWire, what happens is Application Manager detects that this user, Mandy, has clicked on LimeWire, and LimeWire is not authorized, so it generates a message that says Mandy is not authorized to execute this. And no matter whether Mandy goes from her XP environment to her Windows 7 environment, same thing. They go to download. Again, it's off the network, or it could be installed locally. It doesn't matter. They go to click on it. Mandy's not going to be able to launch it. And the reason is because Mandy has taken ownership of LimeWire. Doesn't mean that she developed LimeWire, doesn't mean that she wrote the program, it means that she just took ownership of that, and we're not allowing that. We only allow applications that are basically based on the owner that was installed or authorized through Application Manager within that environment. So again, let's actually see what happens here. I'm going to come over in the Start Run, and we're going to go to the C drive here to actually show you this. Let me just type this in here real quickly. And go into program files, and let's see what I can find here. Let's see, go Windows 7, a lot of stuff in here. Let's see, program files, Microsoft Office, and I'm going to go over into Office 12, and we're going to come all the way down here to the bottom where Word is at. There's when I'm going to go ahead and launch it from right here just to show you it does launch, and it works just fine. I'm going to simulate, since I don't have internet access in my virtual environment, I'm going to right-click on WinWord, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it onto the desktop. It'd be like me downloading a piece of software and pasting it or saving it onto the desktop. And there it is. There's WinWord. If I go to execute it here, guess what? Mandy can't launch it. It's because Mandy just took ownership of this. So we're not allowing things to execute that is not allowed within that user's environment. So we're going to come back to the console here real quick, and I'm going to do one more thing, and we'll wrap it up for today. But in this group, this user group rule, I'm actually going to say within the actual Application Manager, I'm going to disallow anybody from running PowerPoint. So I'm going to come in here, I'm just going to type in PowerPoint, put the actual executable name, so nobody can run PowerPoint whatsoever. So now it actually set in there, nobody can run PowerPoint. Now I can do this based on a signature rule, not just an executable name, so you can get very granular. So if somebody does try to upgrade PowerPoint, whatever, we keep it at a certain version. I'm then going to come over here in the device rule, and I'm going to say because I have device-based licensing through Microsoft, I'm only going to allow certain devices to be able to launch this. In fact, I only have one copy of PowerPoint. So I'm going to type in here Windows 7. That's the name of my Windows 7 box, my virtual box. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and I'm going to say that's my connecting device because I'm running XenApp in my environment. So I have PowerPoint running on a XenApp server, yet I have it delivered to two devices, XP and Windows 7, but I only have one license, and that license is authorized for my Windows 7 box. And I can come in there and apply it by a computer device name or an IP address in there. And then I'm going to come down here into the rules, and I'm going to say allow PowerPoint to run only for that device. So I'll just type in PowerPoint in here again, .exe, click OK. We'll give it just a second for that to deploy it out. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over into my Windows XP environment, same user, remember. If I go to click on PowerPoint here, guess what? It says Mandy's not authorized to run PowerPoint. Yet if I come over here into my Windows 7 environment and I go to execute PowerPoint, it actually launches without an issue because Application Manager verified that it met with the device name, so it allowed it to launch this. You could then